What's up there, everybody? You're watching New Car Spin. I'm your host, Brian Grant, and this is Conversation Alley. This is a segment that I do for everyone who wants to see like daily style podcast slash vlogging, although I'm not really into that. It's a good opportunity right now, being that it's a Friday, and it's pretty nice and warm out here today in Austin. Downtown is that way. Let's talk about Ford real quick, because it's really a shocker to a lot of people. Frankly, I don't care. I don't care about the Taurus or the Fusion or any of the other cars that they're pulling, and get rid of them. I don't care. But think about this for a second, because I did tweet this the other day, and it doesn't seem like I got much attention, or well, people don't read anymore, and people don't have time to go on Twitter, and I understand that. So think about this. If Ford gets rid of their cars and only makes one real car, which is the Mustang, they're just a truck company, right? They need to think about like the whole carbon trade and all that other stuff, and you think, well, they got to make some cars, and they do it over at Lincoln. Like, they're still going to have the Continental, but what else do they have for the fuel efficiency standards for CAFE and things like that? And don't just narrow it down to Ford. What if, and think about this real quickly, what if they bought Tesla? We know that Ford is really good at mass production. Henry Ford created that whole concept of the assembly line. And what if, with Tesla's cash flow problems and their junk bond problem, and they didn't actually tie their junk bond to their Gigafactory in Nevada, what if Ford buys Tesla and mass produces the Model 3? Now, I'm not a Tesla fan. I haven't really gotten into why, but I'll just tell you that at some of the events that we have for Texas Auto Registrants Association, Tesla is very controlling about how these vehicles are reviewed. And so I don't even waste my time with them. And at the same time, I really don't have infrastructure at my home to accommodate an electric vehicle. But getting past all that, if they have all these orders for the Model 3, and if Ford has all of this capability to mass produce, and they haven't announced shutting down any assembly lines, what if they just buy Tesla today and announce that they're making the Model 3? Or what if they take the technology from the Model 3 and replace Ford Sync 3 with Sync 4 being Tesla technology? I would buy some Ford stock. I mean, I'm not usually speculative, and this is way beyond speculation. This is like conspiracy theory level stuff, but I think it's pretty legit, and I think it's worth doing a video on. And it's right up there too with Honda. You know, in the last couple days, we've seen quarterly results from manufacturers. Mercedes is warning that the strength of the euro is killing their profitability, even though their sales are up. Honda and I think Nissan have warned that even though their sales are up, the yen carry trade has basically killed their profitability. GM, run by Mary Barra, has just absolutely gone off a cliff with a net profit decrease of like 54% for the quarter. Like, these numbers aren't very good at all. So if you think about it from the perspective of FCA, is, even though they're not doing very well right now because of they're taking these charge-offs, but even though FCA is actually really on target for a profitable year for the first time in a long time, every manufacturer right now is actually struggling. And in my line of work, that's not a good thing when they're pulling off vehicles, because it's less work for me to do. It's a lot less to cover for you, and it actually limits all your ability to purchase in the future. So from the perspective of Ford buying Tesla, from Mercedes creating the Model X, their truck, which they say might come to the US, there's a lot of truck sales on the horizon. And let me know what you think about that, because I have my reasons for not buying a truck or an SUV or a CUV, but at the same time I have my reasons for not buying an electric vehicle. And there really aren't too many hybrids out there. And so for Ford to pull sedans and cars in general, what they're really doing is removing themselves from the EV and the hybrid market. And sure, you could probably have hybrid and EV SUVs, but you're not going to gain much because all the wind resistance and everything that comes along with that. So the quick solution is to buy Tesla. And I'm the one who told you that first. Obviously, I don't talk to people at Ford or Tesla. But it's a possibility. And I'd rather own Ford stock at that point than Tesla stock. So think about that this weekend. Another thing to think about, and I had this discussion too with someone from Honda when I had that opportunity to drive the Honda Civic Type R. I've got a video, I'll put it in the description below. Their Accord sales aren't doing very well. And I've seen the Accord. I don't like the look of it. I drove it. It didn't blow me away like a Camry or an Avalon did from Toyota. But the Accord in general, maybe it's not selling so well. Maybe it's not just about the lease pricing. I don't think people really care about $5 or $25 every month. It doesn't matter. It's ugly, right? But maybe the Civic is that good. Maybe you don't need an Accord because the Civic is too damn good and it's killing off the Accord sales. I mean, look at the two. If you look at the Civic and you look at the Accord side by side, I'd rather have a Civic. And then you look at the price and you go, I'd rather have a Civic. And if you're looking at something like an Avalon or a Camry, you're in a different market anyway. You're not looking at a hatchback style Accord. And maybe Accord sales will pick up when Audi launches the new A7 in the US, because freakishly, the new A7 is going to look a lot like the new Accord. They look almost identical. So if one's whizzing by you, you probably couldn't tell the difference right away. So Accord sales might pick up when people realize they look like a A7. And then you have things like, I don't know, you've just got a lot of stuff happening right now in the automotive industry. And my head is obviously stirring because of all this. But at the same time, I'm sure yours is spinning as well, because you're constantly having your options removed from the table. It's the reason why I bought a Chrysler 300S. I know I keep talking about it, but if you think about it, V8s are going to be gone pretty soon too. I don't know what FCA's plan is for on the 300 or the Charger, but I'm pretty sure V8s just in general are going to go away. So if you're going to make a move, obviously any time's a good time. But when you're looking at these decisions these companies are making, they're not always the smartest decisions, right? I mean, you've seen it, how long it's taken Ford to come up with the Ranger and the Bronco, when GM beat them with the Colorado and the Canyon years ago. And Ford is only now just catching up. So obviously Ford's doing something now where they are just catching up, but if they're really ahead of the game by making vehicles people want, and also doing something where it's more than just what people want, but it's also, I don't know, let's just say it's future-proof, they would buy Tesla. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you later.